Welcome to the Flourish with Dr. B podcast, where we inspire people to flourish in mind, body, and spirit. And today I'm coming to you solo with just some reflections. As you most of you know, that I have a Filipino background. My parents were born in the Philippines, and they came here in the 1960s and built a life here after going to medical school, became citizens in the 70s, and we've just been here in New York ever since. And this month of June is the Philippine Independence Day month. Well, the Independence Day is the 12th, but we celebrate it all month, and there's a parade in the city. And last Sunday, we had our annual Filipino American on Long Island celebration at Social Playhouse with Jenny and Mark Basayon, who own Social Playhouse. And we're going to have them another time on because they are really a dynamic duo and have done so much for the community. But for today, I just wanted to reflect on um, my heritage because it has actually also transpired into ways of helping people just be healthier, right? There are things called blue zones in the world. There's only a handful of them, and they have several characteristics that have been shown to prolong life, and people live there the who live there live well past their 90s, even to their hundreds, and they attribute it to certain things like eating clean, exercise, and a positive attitude, a community, doing things in community. And I always joke because the Filipinos, we have all of that except for the eating clean part. And actually, before we were colonized by the Spanish and the Americans, our food was very healthy. And I think a lot of third world countries' foods are very healthy because it's whatever's the earth can give them, right? Like, so fruits, vegetables, things like that. And so recently I put together a lot of my presentations that I've done through the years. Both my parents, as I've told you before, are physicians. They both had their health issues, and a lot of these health issues were very pervasive throughout our culture, mainly high blood pressure, everything cardiovascular, right? High blood pressure, stroke, heart disease. Um, there's cancer, and there's also diabetes. Those are our main conditions in our culture and also the American culture. And more studies are shown that if we if we change our diet, if we eat more healthy in terms of fruits and vegetables, right? Eating the rainbow, 5 fruits and vegetables a day, uh, like all can be in a salad. What does that mean? Something red, something orange, something yellow, something green, something blue, and purple. And when you do that, let's say you put that all in a salad, red onions, which are actually purple, and tomatoes, anything, yellow, your leafy greens, then you're getting your fruits and vegetable recommended daily allowances every day. When you see fruits and vegetables that are very rich in color, those are usually very high in the nutrients that we need and things called antioxidants. Antioxidants actually, you hear it everywhere, right? But oxidative stress is a normal part of metabolism and life and aging. And it goes a little awry with inflammation during inflammation and also disease. So that's the big buzz about antioxidants. That if we replenish our bodies with things that are like vitamin C, things that have anthocyanins like the purple colors, blueberries, ube, which I talk about, and I will talk about, has a lot of anthocyanins. And just different carrots, yeah, the yellows, the oranges of beta carotene, those are all antioxidants. And the best way I describe antioxidants when I'm talking to people in a workshop or one-on-one is, when you make a fruit salad, a fresh fruit salad, and your mom always said, well, squeeze a little orange juice or lemon juice on it to keep it from turning brown. The turning brown part is the oxidation or the oxidative stress, putting good, strong antioxidant like vitamin C in all our citrus fruits helps to stop the browning process. Okay, makes sense. So also, if you see, piece of meat turns brown, that's an oxidative process or oxidative stress. Anything that browns upon exposure to oxygen. So we certainly can use supplements, but we also can choose certain foods that what you might have heard are superfoods. Most superfoods, not all, but most of them have are chock full of antioxidants. So the reason why I'm going into this is because I chose to honor my culture and also bring ways of still eating clean but honoring your culture, right? And for most of you that uh, know or don't know, I wrote this book called The Art of Culture, Cuisine, Clean Eating, Cultural Food Made Healthier. Now, I based this on a lot of Filipino foods, but it's for any kitchen. You can definitely change any culture food into healthier versions by actually this one page in the book that I say is like the quintessential page of this whole book is page 45, and it's Dr. B's Guide to Healthy Ingredient Exchanges. So that's where it is. And if you take, like, say, soy sauce, and then instead of soy sauce, you put coconut aminos or low sodium soy sauce. And instead of sugar, we use low glycemic agave or pure monk fruit, not monk fruit with erythritol, because erythritol, other than causing some kind of sometimes GI distress, it actually studies are pointing, some preliminary studies are pointing that erythritol can make platelets sticky, and you don't want that in your blood vessels. So I usually tell people pure monk fruit, stevia, those two don't raise your hemoglobin A1C or your blood glucose level. Low glycemic agave is sweeter. I use it to bake sometimes because the other two sometimes just miss the mark a little. And what it means by low glycemic, it means that it doesn't raise the blood sugar uh, quickly. High glycemic index would be like white rice, white sugar, and your blood sugar will rise quickly. Something with low glycemic index does rise, but slowly over time. So things that have low glycemic indexes are fruits that do are green apple, blueberries, strawberries, all the berries, raspberries, blackberries. So those are good, the better fruits to have, especially if you're diabetic and you're looking to really decrease your high glycemic index intake. Um, Things like instead of white rice, you could use brown rice, which still has carbs, but it's again a lower absorption over time because it has all that brown coat, white quinoa, rice cauliflower. If you really, really still want the white rice, basmati rice is slightly lower glycemic index than regular rice. You can use white vinegar or apple cider vinegar. Both pretty much are the same. White vinegar is a product of distillation of alcohol, and apple cider vinegar is a product of distillation of apples. So some people will say that the apple cider vinegar is more healthy, but the jury's not quite out on whether which one's more healthy and the other is just kind of apples and oranges or apples and alcohol. So again, circling back, like instead of cow milk or any other animal milk, maybe trying any plant-based milk like coconut or almond oil, oat milk, sorry, uh, almond milk, oat, cashew, and anything that is plant-based. Instead of vegetable, canola, or corn oil, perhaps olive oil or avocado oil or coconut oil. And then when you are looking at meats, you want to go like beef, chicken, things like that. Really strive for something that's organic or grass-fed, free range. And same with fish and seafood, things that are wild caught versus farm raised. Farm raised means that they're probably feeding it things, whether it's antibiotics or like with salmon, they'll add coloring to make it pink. But true wild caught salmon is not as pink as we think it is. And then all-purpose flour, instead of using that, you can use almond flour, or coconut flour, gluten-free one-to-one flour. All these different flours are less inflammatory, let's say, to the gut than a white flour that has a lot of gluten in it. Gluten has been found to be inflammatory even for us who aren't don't have celiac or those who are not sensitive to gluten. And why is that? Like we grew up saying, we ate bread and never was a problem. However, through the years, as crops were being more over-farmed and genetically modified, so GMO, right, genetically modified organisms, more and more what's called dwarf wheat, DWARF wheat, is being mass produced. It's easier, it's faster, and dwarf wheat carries more of the uh, gluten reactive, like the people that react toward gluten, like gliadin, is what causes people to have gastrointestinal distress, and that is in higher concentration in the dwarf wheat than the wheat that we had when we were growing up in the 70s. The other thing about our farming is that because crops have been over farmed, the nutrients and things that when back in the 70s said eat your fruits, eat your veggies, your mom would say, we would get a lot of nutrients from that. But these days, not as much. Um, so yes, there's just a lot of different things that have come into play in terms of a healthy, clean eating diet. And it's really tough, right? It's tough to, it gets expensive when it's all organic. When it's all non-GMO, organic, again, differences. GMO means that it's genetically modified, which means that it may not be as, I don't want to just say healthy, but as digestible, or maybe it's a hormone disruptor now, or maybe it just doesn't get absorbed as well as its heirloom counterpart, as it's when you hear heirloom seeds, those are really the seeds of the original vegetables that are being planted. So that's another term. Organic means, to put in simpler terms, that it's grown without pesticides or any kind of chemical that may have altered or may now made the vegetable or fruit become toxic. So people have done that, farming has done that so that they can mass produce and their yield of all the fruits and vegetables is higher. You will find, right, if you have organic food, organic fruits and vegetables, that they go bad more quickly, right? Or fresh bread goes bad more quickly than the ones that has a lot of preservatives. So anyway, I just want to come on here and give you like a very brief overview of how one of the ways that I really try to help people understand, it's not perfection, right? We can't do everything perfectly, but it's definitely progression. Like if you substitute one or two of these things in your daily regimen of food and cooking, you will little by little, your taste buds will change. If it's like, say, you do less salt, right? Your taste buds will change and you'll find out that things are more salty than they used to be. Same thing with sugary. And over time, it's just a little bit over time, you'll become more and more healthy. You make more and more healthy choices, and then you feel better. You'll find that you sleep better. You'll find that your digestion is better. You'll find that maybe you're more regular, maybe you're not as cranky. You'll find that maybe you don't have to eat every 2 hours because you're now eating more sustainably with good protein and good quality foods. So I just wanted to come and share that all with you. Oh, the other two things is that instead of deep frying, which is a big thing in our culture, I don't know if it is in yours, uh, baking or air frying and then spraying maybe some avocado oil before you air fry or coconut oil. That has changed the game for me completely because in our culture we have these little egg rolls. They're actually I don't like calling them egg rolls because I feel like they stand in a category on their own, but they're called lumpia. And it is egg roll wrapper with some kind of meat, like I'll put shrimp or even some impossible meat because we are vegetarians and or I'm a pescatarian, and we spray a little bit of an avocado oil on it and put in the air fryer. It tastes just as good as deep frying it without all the oily feeling. Same thing with us, we like fried fish, so I'll spray. Sometimes I don't even spray the oil. I'll just put it in the air fryer until it's crisp, and it's just as delicious. Sauteing vegetables instead of heavy oil, maybe just a little bit of oil and then water, but also steaming them, baking them, or even just eating them raw, fresh, but just chopping them up really finely can help you. Uh, it feels like it's cooked because it's chopped so finely. You're not sitting there crunching and trying to you know, chew it away. So anyway, that's the story. There's so many other things like a shopping list, but this is page 45 in my book, my newest book, The Art of Culture, Cuisine, Eating, Clean Eating. There are Filipino recipes in here, and in honor of Philippine Independence Day, I would say try some. They're really easy. I chose the easiest recipes. And of course, there's foods in our culture that we can't make healthy. And I'm not saying to not eat those foods at all. During a celebration, special occasion, sure, indulge. But on a daily basis, this book or workbook that I have put together has definitely will definitely help you make healthier choices and just live a healthier lifestyle. And that's what we're all about here, right? That's why we put this podcast together so that people can just expand their minds about different ways to live your life healthy in mind, body, and spirit. And that's how we bring different guests on, or Ben and I might chat. Sometimes it's silly, but that's also part of living healthier, right? So we can laugh at ourselves and just have fun. So I'm inviting you to just think about what your flourish flash was in my little chat here. And if you want to share it on social media, please like, follow, share. We love to increase our listenership because we want to help as many people as we can. A lot of the things that I share with you are have medical and science background, and of course, you must check with your doctor before you implement them. But also, it's also good to hear from another health professional, because maybe you're thinking about it, and before you want to bring it to your physician, you want to just kind of research and think about these things. And it's just another voice, right? And it can empower people. So I encourage you to share this with friends and people that you may think will want to hear this. And with that, until next time in the hive, be kind and flourish fully.